Welcome to episode 160 of Explode Your Expert Business Show, brought to you by gtex.org.uk. I'm your host, Simone Vincenzi, the Expert Strategist, and this is the podcast for experts who want to become the ultimate authority in their niche while making an impact in the world. And today I have the pleasure to interview Zach Falconer-Barfield. Zach describes himself as the gentleman entrepreneur. He has been an entrepreneur since well before it was trendy. He currently teaches men to be gentlemen, helps people with their ventures, and hosts a live cookery show. In this episode, we talk about gentlemanly behavior that matters. Anyone can do something if they have the key elements. And then also we're covering how then failure is not the end. But what I loved in particular about this interview is the practical advice that in particular gave to men on how to dress to impress. Because let's be honest, as men, most of the time, unless it's a really special occasion, we will just be happy with a jeans and a t-shirt or a polo shirt and some trainers. And that's it. But Zach has something you will hear from his story, has something really interesting, and he has a very powerful message to men. So make sure that you listen to this interview because it was a big eye-opener for me, I've got to be honest. You know, I love my suits, I'm Italian, but suits are for important occasion or for events or for seminars. Now, because I'm doing about 200 seminars a year, I'm almost always in a suit. But then I like to dress very casual in other situations. So it was a very big eye-opener. Listen to the interview until the end. And also you will be able to connect with Zach on the links that there are in the show notes. So make sure you connect with him. If you want to make six-figure presentation and become awesome at selling from the stage and creating seminars that sell like crazy, then download our Ultimate Selling from the Stage checklist, which is the most comprehensive checklist to create a pitch that sells without using sleazy or manipulative techniques. So you can get the checklist here in the show notes, and you can just scroll down and find it. And as well, you know the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people, and in particular, opening opportunities and opening doors for each other. The reason why I have so many TV interviews, radio shows, podcast opportunities, client opportunities, is because I'm always connected with other people in my field. And that's why we have created our Explode Your Expert Business group. Make sure you join, the link is in the show notes, or you can go on Facebook and find Explode Your Expert Biz. Now, I've got something new that I want to share with you before we start the episode. We are launching a brand new retreat in Thailand. It is super high-end, something spectacular. We have booked a private estate with 3 villas, a total of 21 rooms. Every villa will have their own private chef, a private swimming pool. Participants will have access to the spa, and the focus of the retreat is to add an extra £100,000 or dollars, depending the currency that you use, to your business in 2019. So the retreat will take place in 2019. We are starting taking applications right now. So if you are interested, we are now still building the pages and the application forms and all that shebangs. But if you're interested right now, we have more than 40 people already that are in the waiting list. You can send me an email with the subject retreat at Simone, Simone, at gtex.org.uk. So send me an email with subject retreat at Simone, Simone, at gtex.org.uk. So then I will add you into the waiting list as well while we're building all the pages, and we'll let you know more information in the future. Now, I'm really excited to start. It's time to hear it from Zach on entrepreneurship with style and flair. Let's start the music. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. And today I'm here with the one and only Zachary Falconer-Barfield. How you doing, Zach?
I'm very good, sir. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure. we are going to do things in style. Today is all about style. I'm Italian. I love style. It's something that is in me. Is in me in one way. So when you put it in the description of the show, we're talking about entrepreneurship and with style. I'm like, ooh, that's a spicy topic. I like that. So Zach, what got you to become passionate about style, entrepreneurship? What's your journey?
Well, I'll try and keep it relatively short because I could probably talk for most of your show on my journey here. But very simply, I was a very sick child when I was growing up. Till I was about 10, I spent most of my life in hospital. And I was very ill during my teenage years. So I didn't have a great schooling. And I also realized quite early on that I wasn't going to have a normal career. I thought that, I knew that, going to a job in inverted commas and basically saying, by the way, I might have to take some time off every couple of months because I'll be in hospital wasn't going to be conducive to a sort of normal career. And also then my family, especially my mum's side of the family, were, nowadays we call them entrepreneurs. Those days they were just business owners. I like the way that terminology has changed in the last sort of 30 years. My grandparents were business owners. Now they'd be entrepreneurs, but it's just, it's semantics.
Yeah.
You knew the world of that world. So I foolishly wanted to be an actor when I was about 17 and went to drama school and then realized I didn't want to be an actor because I didn't like being poor. Which most actors are.
Yep.
There are some not poor actors, but most actors are poor. And then I started my first business was by the time I was 19. But sort of I had worked in the family business since I was 12 years old. I mean, my mum basically went, you want pocket money? There's a 50 kilogram sack of carrots. You can peel and chop it, and then you'll get pocket money. And I sort of worked all my way through my teenage years. So I had an understanding of money and what work was. And, you didn't get money unless you worked and that sort of stuff. So I got that. And so then I set up my first company when I was 19 with my grandfather, who sort of was the backer, as it were. And then I've kind of ridden the entrepreneurial roller coaster ever since. I've personally had 15 companies in 7 different industries and been involved with the start of about 25 other companies with various different people. So both UK and internationally. So I've been around the block a lot.
It feels like we can say it's in your blood.
It is in my blood, and
it is in your blood.
I don't know any different, and I did have what I refer to as a midlife crisis, where most people who have a midlife crisis get a Ferrari and a younger girlfriend. I didn't. I got an MBA and a job. So that's an entrepreneur's midlife crisis. And I got a job for 3 months, which was the longest I have ever been employed by anyone other than myself.
How was that experience?
Interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting. I won't. It's one of those conversations that I could have in private, not in public. Okay. But it was an interesting experience. Non-disclosure agreements here coming into play. Yeah, I'm not very good. I would never disparage people. Yeah. So, it would have been different because it was quite a relatively small company. But it was
okay.
Not an entrepreneurial company.
Not an entrepreneurial company. And how about your first business? You said that you started your first business with your grandfather. Yeah. What business was it?
You're going to laugh. It was a labor subcontractors. So basically, we put laborers onto, all the ones the people that everyone hates, on the motorways and digging up the roads. So we were supplying laborers onto those big companies, big contracts. And at the time, because this is quite a while ago, this is 30 years ago, they were all Irish. So now they're all sort of Polish and Eastern European. Mm-hmm. When I did it, they were all Irish. So yeah, we had a lot of people on the books at one point. So it was fun. It was an interesting experience. I learned double entry bookkeeping. I learned lots of cash and how to do that, and also how to structure, how to negotiate deals and that sort of stuff, and especially for that kind of thing. So yeah, it was.
It sounds like was almost like a recruitment agency that you had.
Sort of. It was more like a placement agency.
A placement agency. The reason why I'm asking it is because one of the businesses that we have is a recruitment agency. So we do sales training for recruitment agencies, and also we do a bit of rec to rec, so placing recruiters for recruitment agencies. But that's not something I deal with. My business partner, my non-executive director, they know that field, because I never. Myself, like you, I never worked a corporate day in my life, so it's difficult for me to go into a corporate and say, "Let me train your staff." I don't understand them. I don't click, and my background was in the catering industry. I used to manage Michelin-star restaurants and work in restaurants since I was 14, and then so I feel that I can understand what you're talking about when you're saying. I'm unemployable. Yeah, I get it.
Well, a very, very, very successful entrepreneur friend of mine, when he's asked now, he's sort of semi-retired. He because you never truly retire as an entrepreneur. He always says, when everyone asks him what he does, he goes, "Oh, I'm unemployed and unemployable." And yeah, he's a very, very successful entrepreneur, and worth hundreds of millions of pounds, and yeah, that's what he says all the time. And I think it's very amusing, and I think it's very true. I think entrepreneurs are true. What I call true entrepreneurs, they're just unemployable.
Yep, I completely agree with you. So now, what made you to do what you do now, which is working with entrepreneurs and working with their style? What's the transition from placing Irish working in the streets and fixing up the roads to working with style?
Well, so long story very short. Worked in 7 different industry sectors all the way through my career, and then, but I've always been obsessed with style. So I started wearing suits when I was probably 18 properly. I got my first tailored suit when I was 18, and I've loved style. When I said to you I was very sick, I was watching black and white movies, and I had no male influences, so I sort of sought them out, and my male influences at the time were people like Cary Grant and David Niven and those sort of Hollywood great actors. Most of the people under the age of 25 have no idea who I'm talking about. But
yeah, I mean, I'm under the age of 30, and I'm nodding and making a smile just to make myself look smart. But
Google them.
I'll Google them. Thank you.
And watch some of their movies; they're very good. So that's kind of the element of style was always there, and I mean, always kind of was this thing of I always liked to be well dressed, and even whatever industry I was in, I was always the guy going, I'm wearing a jacket, I'm wearing a shirt, I'm wearing a suit, and even in sort of what I would call casual industries, I'd be the guy in the suit that they'd always think I was the lawyer or the banker, because I would be really well dressed. So, which is nice. It changes people's preconceptions a little bit. And then when I had my midlife crisis, as I mentioned, I kind of came out of that working for someone else and didn't know what to do, because I hadn't got an entrepreneurial idea at the time, and I didn't know what to do, and I was sort of wandering around. And a friend of mine, she said to me, would I teach her boyfriend to be more like me? Which I laughed at, as you would do. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But I said, why? And she said, well, you always dress well. You always sort of behave well. You always, stand on the outside. You open the doors. You do all that sort of gentlemanly stuff. And it's very hard for most people to do for 10 minutes, let alone, the 10 years that I've known you. So I was like, okay. And then my entrepreneurial brain kicks in, and I go, oh. I started looking around and realized that we men, and it's specifically men, aren't taught certain skills anymore. So, and there's nowhere really for us to learn them. So, if you go, women have a sort of two things. Women have a lot of media about what to wear, how to wear it. There's hundreds of magazines about it. There's lots of websites. There's loads of YouTube tutorials. There's lots and lots of information about that. That when they socialize, they will say stuff to each other. Oh, don't wear that. Oh, that looks great on you. Where did you get that? For men, we have a couple of men's magazines, but both are pretty much basically advertising blocks for promoting very expensive items of clothing, which most men can't own or wear. Or afford. Or we have
or a lot of watches.
Or a lot of watches.
It seems that the only thing we can wear are watches.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love my watches. I got about like 6 or 7, because is my little like jewelry thing that I love.
But everyone has their thing. And also men don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. There's no peer group telling them. You don't stand around in a pub going, you shouldn't wear that jacket. It doesn't flatter your waist, and we don't do that, and therefore we don't know. And also the other thing is men are quite egotistical, and they don't want to know what they don't know. In other words, they don't admit they don't know something. That's that old adage of a man and woman in a car driving along, and why don't you look at the map? I don't need the map. I know where I'm going. And that's the kind of thing most men go, I don't need to know style. I know style. And unless you've been taught it, you don't. It's like anything in life. Unless you learnt it, or you really are naturally gifted, you just don't. So that's kind of where it started from. Gentlemen, and we sort of we teach men to be gentlemen, and part of that is style, romance, manners, all that sort of stuff as well. And that's kind of where it stems from. And I think style is incredibly important. And people sort of go, and I go, no, it isn't, because first impressions matter.
Yeah, it absolutely, it does. And now I want to dive deeper into some strategies or some ways of behaving or ways of dressing that are applied to men in business. So context is business.
Yeah, context is business. Well, business is the easiest because most men, the biggest thing men struggle with is casual, right? So the most thing men struggle with is casual. Yeah, it's true. Most men struggle with.
Put my hands up. Yep.
I'll just do a very quick sidebar on casual. I don't own a pair of jeans.
Right, that's shocking.
And I haven't owned a pair of jeans for 6 years.
That's even more shocking.
Because I think it's lazy dressing. Because men will automatically just go, I'll put a pair of jeans on. Rather than thinking, okay, I've got to put trousers on, or I've got to put something else on, or I've got to think about what I'm wearing. Jeans would make you lazy.
That's a very interesting point of view. Never heard about something like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I kind of. So I'll give you a benchmark of that. So business is relatively easy. So my thing is first impressions matter. First impressions count, right? And you never know who you're going to meet. So you have to put your best first impression out at any time, whether it's, walking to the street to pick up a packet of cigarettes or a carton of milk, or you're going off to dinner, or you're going off to, business meeting, or whatever it is. You don't know who you're going to meet. So you should dress appropriately and stylishly every time you step outside the house. And I know that sounds really weird, but you look at women and you look at especially female celebrities, they do that. There's not a time that, walking outside the house. We get photos in magazines going, oh my God, she's not wearing this. We never get that for guys. We just kind of get expected to look like we're a snob. So,
yeah,
that expectation level is there, which, I know it's wrong in one sense, but it's that kind of but well, how come we aren't expected to? Well, just there's generally men are slobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that perception bit has to change for men as well. I think, just going sniff, sniff, oh, this T-shirt works, I'll put it on, is not good enough. So that gives you some basics and some context. But so for business, I always say dress smartly, dress stylishly, dress well. And that means I'm not saying you have to wear a suit and a tie for everything that you do. That's not, that's my style. And it's kind of the pinnacle of it, if you like. But, you might not be job appropriate. But it's about getting the right form, the right fit, and the right fabric. So in other words, wear the things that are appropriate. If it is a place where, it's more casual, put on a pair of trousers and a collared shirt. You don't have to wear a tie. You don't have to wear a cravat like I'm wearing today. Mm-hmm. Or, or if it's slightly more formal, get a nicely tailored suit and wear a shirt. You don't have to wear a tie. You don't have to, and then accessorize. Get some nice cufflinks. Wear a pocket square. Make it stand out. You don't have to be the boring guy in a navy blue suit with a white shirt that looks like every other person in the world. You can address it in different ways. And then it's understanding fit. So, for example, don't follow the trend. Find something that fits you. So I'll give you an example at the moment. It's a very trendy thing at the moment to have short jackets. So jackets that sit above your backside.
Yep.
They suit very, very, very few people. Like 5 to 6% of the male population.
It looks weird. I found it looks so weird with some people.
It's awful. It looks so bad. And just guys will wear it and they don't think. And I'm like going, you look awful. And most of the time, it's it's generally bigger guys that wear it, and they just look like an orangutan or a gorilla.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And you're just like, oh, don't do it. And then things like my other favorite is they get the jacket everyone wants a slim fit. They think that they're going to slim into their jacket. Like their rib cage is suddenly going to get slimmer, So not their belly. I'm not talking about the belly. I'm talking about the rib cage. So they want a slim fit jacket, and then they insist on butting it up. And then what happens is you have this pull thing.
It feels like they're pulling apart, and then when the least you expect it, then pop.
And it's just things like it's just simple things. It's like getting buying a jacket and getting it fitted. So. You don't have to spend a fortune. This is why I talk about all the time. This is not like going to a Savile Row tailor and spending £4,000 on a suit. You don't have to do that. You can go to a high street brand. In the UK, we're talking TM Lewin or something like that. Spend a couple of £100 on a suit, and then go to a tailor and have it fitted to you. And that will cost you between £40 and £50.
Yep.
Which is not a lot of money.
Nope.
It's not a lot of money. So you can get it fitted a little bit better for you, so it doesn't look like it's just fallen off the rack for you. If you're very, very lucky, you can find a suit that fits you, and certain brands will fit you better than others, and it's find out what works for you. I always say, initially when you go shopping, go with a female friend of yours that you don't like or don't fancy. You're not in a relationship with.
It's really important.
Yeah. Because first of all,
that detail.
Well, it is because you want someone that you trust, but you don't have one you're not interested in, because then you'll be embarrassed. But if they trust you and they kind of go, oh, okay, that suits you, that doesn't suit you, because women have a better eye for these things than most guys. So these are my just basic tips, and also find colours that work for you. The other thing about guys is we kind of don't realise that certain colours work for certain skin tones and hairstyles and eye colours, and you need to try it and find out what works for you. There's no point. I look awful in green, so I never wear green. Blue suits me and purple suits me. But it's that sort of thing. It's like try it, figure it out, then don't, if it doesn't suit you, don't wear it. So I'll give you a very small statistics. One of my favorite statistics. So clothes returns. So people who return clothes, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Both online and in store, women return between 40 to 60% of their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? What's the male statistic, do you think?
5%?
About that. Less than 5%. Both online and
I'm thinking about the amount of clothes that I refound, that I returned. Because it's like, yeah, probably about a 5%. Literally, I had to hate it, or it doesn't have to, like, it is not fitting at all, or is way too large that I cannot wear it. Because, if you haven't given a pair of trousers and they're a bit larger, you know what, the belt will do, and then they are all scrunched up there at the waist level, and that you kind of make the little wrap, and then you are pulling the part which is under the belt, which is coming under the belt, so then people will not see that actually that pair of trousers is larger than they are.
And the reverse is true as well. So men will buy smaller things because they want to be seen to be smaller, and then they'll go, oh no, I'll slim and get into it. So I have a bunch of clothes that are a size or 2 sizes too small that sit in their wardrobe, and
just
they don't.
In case. Just in case I lose a couple of stones.
Yeah, and it's true, and and it's universal. So that's but the why is very important. The why is because we have bias, we have unconscious bias. Our first impressions count. When we perceive people, when we see them the way they're dressed, we make judgment calls about them.
True.
So my thing is, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as in your business, you want to be the best first impression that you could possibly make.
I have a question, right? I have a burning question right now, because
sure.
I'm thinking, I'm very selfish, so I'm thinking about my situation, and I love doing this podcast because I always get free advice. Yes. Now, I love wearing suits. Everywhere I go, I wear suits. In particular, a 3-piece suit. I love my 3-piece suit, no tie. That's my style. The tie.
3-piece and no tie.
Yeah, I like 3-piece and no tie.
Okay.
The problem is that right now we are in the middle of this unforeseen British summer.
Yeah.
Heat, sweat everywhere. So the question is, how do you dress in a way that stand out without becoming a puddle of sweat in these situations?
A good question.
Because that's what I found is stopping me the most. Like, I would just put a short pair of chinos, pair of trainers, go out, a t-shirt, just because it's too hot.
Yeah. So I love 3-piece suits as well. But yeah, it's a little hot for 3-piece suits. Just a little hot for 3-piece suits. But so then it comes down to fabric. So then it's about wearing the right fabrics. So you wear fabrics that breathe. So you look at things like linen, and you look at things like a seersucker, which is a cotton fabric, which is kind of the blue and white stripes. Well, they have other colours now. They're called seersucker. Seersuckers are the light blue and white striped suits. You can wear cotton and linen mixes, and these things breathe, and they're much lighter. And you look for unstructured jackets, so you don't want lined jackets.
Yeah.
So these things make it breathable. And I frequently wear. I've got a couple of linen suits which I wear during this weather. In fact, I brought a couple more linen jackets. To go through this summer, because usually we don't have this summer. So
usually we don't have summer.
No, that's fine for my linen suit collection. And then it's about standing out a little bit and being a little bold. The thing about summer and the thing about dressing for summer is you can be bolder. The thing is, I wear seersucker, which is the blue and white striped suit. I've got a very baby blue, this color linen suit, which I pair with different things, and so I pair it with a like a purple polo shirt, so it contrasts a little bit.
Right. So you will have a suit, and then you will have a polo shirt under the suit.
Under the suit, maybe, or if I'm wearing I wore a linen shirt or something like that. Now, occasionally, and I've had to do it a couple of times, is wear it formally, like a proper suit. Then you start having to think a little bit differently. I always say, especially nowadays, you can buy the wicking T-shirts, so the T-shirts that sort of absorb the sweat.
Yep.
I've
got a stockpile of those.
And you wear a white shirt.
Yeah.
So what you never ever wear in this weather is a dark shirt, because your armpit stain will come out like nobody's business.
When you have like the sweat patch at the back, the white that you have the white trail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why you only ever wear white shirts. You have a little wicking shirt underneath. You only ever wear white shirts. The stains don't come through as visibly, and it's much clearer. And just get lighter fabric suits. So that's always what I say: just get the lightest fabric suit you can. And then that's kind of what you look at. I try, if I have to wear a suit, I wear a suit. If I try not to wear a suit, it's very funny. Even when I go on holiday, people just always kind of comment, because I'm not wearing shorts and, a T-shirt. I'm always like, I've got a linen shirt on, or I've got linen trousers on, and people are always just like going, I'm always dressed this level above, and people just don't believe I'm British, which is the funny thing as well.
Yeah, well, British are not known in the world for their sense of fashion.
Not anymore, which is sad. But, I generally get Italian, because I'm wearing stylish clothes that's tailored. I generally get, if I'm away, they're going to assume I'm Italian. Or weirdly Dutch, because the Dutch tend to dress well. This has been I love what you shared, and in particular is what I'm hearing you saying is a change of mindset. Is a complete change of mindset that men needs to have regarding the way they show up in their daily lives. Absolutely.
Whether it's business, whether it's not business, the better you dress, the more you stand out. And in particular, if you are in business, the more you stand out, the more business you get, because the more attractive you are as a person. Yeah. I remember I was a hippie. I was a complete hippie. I was bald, no goatee. I used to wear this long scarf and these flowered trousers. And then I had a session with an image consultant. And he literally said to me, "I no wonder why you have no clients." And I said, "What do you mean?" So, okay, the hat must go. Grow your hair back, put a goatee on, and start wearing suits. And then see me in 3 months. Just that, I see, my business boomed in this 3 months just because of those changes. And I believe, as you're saying, is really important, and I can fall in the category of being lazy, going out there and I cannot be bothered. Just put a T-shirt and a pair of jeans, and that's it. And I got my trainers, only one pair of trainers that are overused, but that's fine. I don't care about that. And it's not because I don't have the financial resources to get more. It's just it's not at the forefront of my mind. So I'm really, this interview inspired me to be better dressed, even in my social and more casual situation. So I'm going to let you know. This interview really inspired me. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I would also say that add more casual shoes. So I have. So I add summer shoes and winter, normal leather shoes and summer shoes as well. I have the trainers I have only go to the gym and back, and that's it. I do not train outside the house.
Wow. That's of course, you are in the right business. I can say we always think in the expert field, in the expert sector, you got to walk the talk.
Gonna walk the talk.
Hey.
But I mean, I do understand that people have specific job requirements, but I think that you should dress the best that you can within the situation that you are.
Yeah, if you are mining a mine, maybe a
Exactly.
suit is not appropriate there.
Which shall I tell you an interesting statistic? So not business related, but dating related. Statistics: 78% of women around the world, globally, prefer men dressed in a suit.
I'm not surprised. I didn't know about the statistic, but it kind of makes sense.
Exactly. And then guys go, oh, okay. You know, it's that brain go, oh.
Well, if
So
I
it's
don't do it for me, I don't care doing it for me, for myself. Okay, so I have now we are going to the last part of the interview where we are, which is called lifting the veil.
Yeah.
In this section, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask you to share
Yeah.
something that you're using in your business or in your life, that you're the tool, a strategy, a technique that everyone should know. It's so good that every other expert should know.
So I when you mentioned this beforehand, I did think about it, and I have two things, if you don't mind. So I
Go
have a
for it.
tool, and I have a strategy, and they're not related at all. But I kind of think that they both work, especially for entrepreneurs, and especially in my world. So the tool, I will say, which is really simple, is it's an app called Evernote. It is probably the best app in the world. It syncs through every device. It's a note-taking app. It's free. You can pay, and paying is nothing. It's like 70 quid a year or something like that. I mean, that's basically you have one less Starbucks a week. And that covers your £70. But it's a great app. It stores everything: photos, videos, you name it, websites, the whole thing. Saves everything. It's kind of my second brain. I use it for storing all sorts of information. Especially in today's world where there's so much coming at you, and you kind of go, I can't deal with that now. I just put it in Evernote. I use it to do recipes for the Super Chef, which you're coming on in a couple of weeks, and then all the stuff that I do. So as a tool, I think it's great. You can collaborate with other people and stuff like that. So that is my toolkit, which I use pretty much every day on every device.
I love Evernote. I thank you for sharing it, because it is a tool which I think is underappreciated.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you got Evernote. No one really talks about that. Actually, it's the first time someone is sharing it on the show. Over 150 episodes, almost 160 by now, and but I think it's a very underappreciated. So thank you for sharing.
It's always on my phone. It's like the on the apps, the phone and the Evernote are the two things that sit there the whole time. And then I call it strategy. But it's a question I get asked, and then people just kind of go, So everyone goes, how come you fit so much into a day? And I go, I get up early, I go to bed late. and people just go, I'm just like, I get up early, I go to bed late. And they're like, it's entrepreneurship. I'm like, if you are really, what I call a true entrepreneur, you really do it. You're busy. You're always doing stuff. You don't have time to sleep. It's like sleep is for other people. I'm lucky. I don't need a lot of sleep. But
how much sleep do you normally have per night?
5 hours. 5 hours a night.
Yep.
So I generally get up between 5 and 5:30 every morning. And I go to bed sometime between 11 and midnight, depending. So that's generally my run. And then the thing is, you see, I kind of go, I can get my exercise, my meditation, all my stuff done before most people get up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready for my day when most people are just kind of waking up and having
yes.
and that's 2 hours. I get up, I meditate, and I go to the gym, and I come back, and I get myself ready, and I'm usually at my desk around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I'm ready. Bang, I'm straight in the day, and then I work, and usually I save all my social engagements till evenings, and I'll do all those, and I'll go do stuff and whatever else I want to do, all my challenges and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just say people don't understand is like you have to put the effort in, and what I'm really saying is you can't. There's no such thing as a 4-hour work week. There's no such thing as I can do this in a short period of time, work smarter. No, you just have to. I just have to work, and therefore, if you sleep less, sleep less.
And the less you sleep, the more time you need to get done. Now, I think we needed to have a disclaimer here. Everyone has different physical conditions, and
Absolutely.
in fact, you said this is what works for me. There are some people that could not operate with 5 hours of sleep a night.
I'm not saying that it should, but what I'm saying is that
it makes common sense. If you are waking up early, whatever early is for you, and you go to bed late, whatever late is for you, as long as you have your sleep where you can function during the day, you get more done.
Yeah.
And so I think that I have a new name for you, which is the King of Common Sense, which you can proudly show on your website right now, called by Simone Vincenzi, the King of Common Sense. Like someone would care about who I am and what I do. But I think it's something that is a common thread that I found in this interview. It felt like, it makes sense.
Well, I, as my grandfather used to say, common sense isn't common.
his sense.
it's just sense.
It's just
but
sense.
I think it's very interesting. I sorry, sidebar issue, but I do like Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
Don't like his swearing all the time, but that's just me. I'm British, and constant swearing is a bit worrying. But I do like him because he's probably one of the only people I've heard in recent times who tells it like it is. Because I get very fed up with a lot of people selling the dream.
Yeah.
And going, well, actually, I've been doing it for 30 years. And I've done this the whole time. And I know that some of the reasons I've done that, as far as an entrepreneur is concerned. But it's just not rocket science. It is really simple principles make you successful. Mm-hmm. And people just don't realize that. People just kind of want the quick fix. They want they want to be spoon fed. They want this. And I'm like, doesn't work like that. Never works like that. You and I, as you said, you started off in restaurants. I started off in restaurants. But I bet you've had a slightly different journey to where we are now. But I can probably say, okay, we've done this points in our life, and we've learned those lessons.
Absolutely.
And what happens is, if you don't learn them, you don't learn them. Yeah. I can tell you what's going to happen, but you'll just go, yeah, Zach. Until you get hit by the flying brick, you don't go, oh yeah, there's a flying brick.
Now, I was having a conversation with a really smart man called Ben Chai, and he was saying, I was delivering a seminar, and he was there in the audience, as he was also one of the speakers. But at the moment, he was listening in the audience, and he said, "Aren't we by mentoring people and by coaching them? Aren't we robbing them from the life experiences that made us who we are?" And I can see his point. Don't completely agree with that. In fact, we had a good conversation because I think that, I'm who I am because also the people that help me out, and I'm as in the things that I'm able to do, I'm competent in doing. I'm helping out other people. We don't need to reinvent the wheel from scratch, and someone is making a mistake, not even saying you're making a mistake.
But see, that's the problem. Most people won't say you're making a mistake. Most people won't say, no, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
But the problem is most people don't have the competence of the ego to understand that they're making a mistake. They're going to go, oh, no, I'm not making a mistake. You are, just listen to me, I've done it. And people go, I don't know.
and I think is about the person. There are some people that are seeking for advice, and they're seeking for help, and they are willing to be guided. And there are other people that they think they are, or they say they are, but in reality, they're not, and their actions speak louder than their words. Zach, it's been an incredible interview. I absolutely loved every single second. Very interesting, talking about how to dress for success, talking about how to stand out, and also the tools and strategies that you shared, and in particular your common sense, which we establish is not common. So I would say for your sense. If people want to get in touch with you, reach out to you, where they can find you.
Well, easy. If you just Google The Perfect Gentleman, you'll find us on social media and our website, which we're relaunching the company in September, so you'll see us more then. You can find me. I'm an interesting name. I'm the only one in the existence in the world, so you just type my name in, Zachary Falconer-Barfield, and you'll see everything I do. And if you want to follow my other adventures, which we didn't talk about, but you're coming on.
I'm so excited. Yeah, do a shameless plug about the Suited Chef here.
So my passion project, as I call it, is the Suited Chef, which is basically an online TV cookery show. That's basically what it is. It's a live 90-minute cooking experience where we get to cook and have fun and interview lovely people. So, like yourself, is coming on the first show of next season.
I'm so looking forward to it, and everyone needs to be dressed well in that.
Well, I'm always in a suit. It's called the Suited Chef, so there you go. It happens. Well, actually, I wasn't in a suit the last show, but it was outside. But I was wearing a shirt and stuff. But
I'm looking forward. So you can find, guys. Do you have a Facebook page for the Suited Chef?
Suited Chef is only on Facebook at the moment, so you have to find us on Facebook.
Brilliant. So the link are going to be in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, check in the description. If you're listening on the podcast, look at the show notes. If you're already on the blog post on our website, you will find all the details there. And make sure that you connect with Zach, because we all need a bit more style in our life. We all need a bit more style. That has been established, that we all need a bit more style. So thank you very much, Zach. It's been a pleasure having you here on our show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe right now so you don't miss any other episode of Explode Your Expert Biz show. And also leave us a 5-star review and let us know what did you enjoy the most about this episode with Zach. What stood out for you? So then you can share the word and spread the word and share it to other people, and we'll have more listeners and we'll have even better shows, and you will have ultimately a much better experience time after time, episode after episode. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one, and up until the next episode, always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao!